today I got asked, could you teach me how to draw this eye? I said, sure. I'll show you how to draw that eye. One of the things you need to understand in drawing eyes is that most marks are what I call velvet. What I mean by that is everything is soft. It's like powder, right? Everything feels really soft to the eye. So you're going to make sure that if your image looks soft, what you're creating looks soft, right? If the line looks thick, make sure your line is thick. Look at the top of the eyelid there. It's thick. So I've made my line thick here. Sometimes you got a little flicks, but sometimes you've got really sharp points. So this is where you might come in with your pencil. Look, I do tiny little marks that are really sharp, and they bring this really high definition to what you're doing. So I might decide that I'll make the top of the eye really sharp, right? Then we come back and we'll look at the two together, and you can see. Now you might decide that you want to have a little highlight, so I'll go in and I'll look for a bit of drama. So I want a little bit of drama right here. And drama is simply high or dark notes beside an area that might be a different contrast to what you're doing. That looks pretty cool. Do a little test here, just check and see, what is your material doing? Like, how dark is it? And then I'll go under the eye. I'm happy with the darkness, and I know that I want to have a 4 to a 5 coming out from this. And there's a nice little bag under the eye here. So we're going to increase the number underneath the eye. Increase that and increase that. Looks pretty good. Here's a little more shaded. Say I feel I went too bright there, I will come in, and now I'll work with my putty rubber and I'll remove some of that shading I did, right? If I feel it's being too strong. And I constantly reshape my putty rubber to make sure it is in a good shape for drawing with. Very important. If you don't, you won't get the small marks you want, right? And many of the marks you do in the final bit of detailing are so tiny that if you don't make your putty rubber really small, you will not make those gorgeous marks that are needed to create that sensation. This is brighter. I don't think under the eye is this dark, so I'm going to lower that number. Look, like as you speak, I'm lowering the number. So I removed a lot of the dust away, and then I will highlight these areas here and here. And now I think I lowered too much, so I cancel the dust off my air cleaner. I make sure it's in the tone I want, and I'll go back into the eye. Look. Back into the eye. Under here is shaded more. And here shaded more. Here shaded more. Final bit. You'll make 1 or 2 sharp marks, okay? So I notice in the photo, there's tiny sharp marks here. Here seems to be a little sharp. The eye seems to striation. Now I can bring the eyelashes in. It's very close to the upper eye. The distance is really small. So one thing you might get caught out in a lot is you leave a larger distance here than actually is visible. And then the eye doesn't look like it's in that hovering lower position anymore. Here I'm just using my finger to tone it out. I think that looks pretty cool. I might get the Tombow for this one little bit here. You can see there's a little spark in the eye right there. And we don't have it, right? So I'm going to do that. But you know there's another way you can do this. It's really dangerous. Here it is. You get the knife. Like, I don't mind. Like, this is fine. It's just a drawing I'm doing for you on the internet. Help all you people out there. Okay. Location. Identify the location. Identify this location. What is the angle between the two? And then scrape up. Now look at that beautiful highlight. I want to make it a little bigger. And there's a second highlight here. Look. Say I wanted to exaggerate the eye. I could just scrape in, exaggerate the eye. Scrape up here, exaggerate that as well. Like, there's a lot of little highlights in this eye. So I want people to see that. I'm going to zoom in. Now look at that eye. A lot of different information taking place. If I wanted to make this meeting between here and here sharper, I could take the blade and just scrape along the edge. Look, see? There it's sharper. But not something I normally do. Okay, I hope that helps people. You can see this is a normal page I have in the studio. I'll have a leg study, a head study, and here I'm just doing this hyper-realistic eye. And yeah, that's a normal day in the studio. And there's studio there, so you can see. Another day, Saturday. I'm in the second studio here. Anyway, bye bye.